everybody, welcome to another video reaction video. Today we are checking out another video from Dell, who's saying VTubers are mad at Twitch for VR attire rules. I'm gonna be honest, I'm so surprised there's still people who still play VR chat. I feel like that game is I feel like game sort of died a bit. I think most people who play VR chat, like the VR chat models are pretty revealing. I'm not gonna lie. So I kind of see where Twitch is coming from, but we'll see what this is all about. All right, let's see what's going on.
Welcome back, my delinquents.
Welcome back, Del.
VTubers versus VR chat users, or is it VTubers versus Twitch?
Oh,
so
yeah?
to start the saga off, VR chat streamers were getting bans or warnings. And if you don't know what VR chat is a virtual reality game. It's social. It's a social game, and a lot of streamers use the 3D models in the game to stream with.
I mean, if he does.
And a lot of streamers use the 3D.
I mean, that's pretty much that's the. To me, it's not. To me, that's not super revealing to me. These models, they're not like. These are not super revealing. I've seen more revealing than this. To be honest, I see a lot more revealing models than these. To be honest. I see a lot worse on VR chat than this.
Models.
I think those are fine. These models are fine.
Headsets like the Vive, Oculus, etc., with full body tracking and whatnot. They are known notoriously for being very lewd nowadays. They used to be known mainly.
I don't think this model's that bad. As I said, I seen a lot worse than this in VR chat. I mean, to be honest, I don't see the problem with this model personally, but that's my opinion.
For memes. I myself used to stream VR chat back in the day, just a little bit. So it's.
I did like 3 VR chat videos.
Some people would classify it as VTubing, some people wouldn't. Twitch has in the past had the stance that VR chat wasn't under the same rules as VTubing, as it is technically a game, which kind of made it slightly above the rules when it comes to VTubing. So recently, some bans. They got some backlash over it from the VR chat community, and some people from it just generally coming out of nowhere. But this is where the tables turn and it becomes a bit controversial here, is that they then backtrack on that decision and say this. We made change to our enforcement guidelines recently regarding the application of our attire policy to VR chat streams. Received a lot of feedback from the VR chat community about the confusion this has caused, especially since it was not accompanied by a change to our published policy guidelines. Effective today, we are rolling back the change to the enforcement guidelines. Any strikes due to this change will be. That said, as stated in our policy, our attire policy will still apply to VTubers, but does not apply to characters in games such as VR chat, meaning the avatars that they use, interpretation of this, is not held to the same standards as VTubing, as though a lot of VR chat avatars are used similar to VTubing. And it got a lot of backlash from VTubers, as you can imagine here from a lot of this, saying that VTubers can't have underboob, but I mean, to be honest, I don't really see. This is sort of a grey area for me. Like, so they're saying that VR chat models are not going to be as heavily restricted because it's a game, not a VTubing software, not technically a VTuber, so because you can use multiple avatars in the game. I can see where they're coming from, but it kind of gives it a massive grey area, a huge massive grey area, because like there are a lot of revealing. There's a lot of revealing VR models, VR chat models.
I see. To me, this is a bit of a grey area, a massive grey area. I can see where they're coming from, but I can see where a lot of the VTubers are getting pissed off because, like, really, essentially the VR chat models can show more skin than your average VTuber model. So I can see somebody trying to literally trying to. I can see somebody like pushing that rule on like how revealing you're allowed a VR chat model. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. Like somebody's, and then they'll go back on the rule again. All right, let's see.
3 VR chat avatars can be almost completely nude, which in some instances they are almost. Dance streams are incredibly popular where they're just dancing there with strings. Even Marudo, a popular.
Yeah, I literally knew somebody. I literally knew somebody who did that the whole stream. Somebody that used to be in the ends of VTube server. They used to do that a lot. All they did was do dancing in VR chat. Like, was that it? I mean, I'm not gonna like knock it, but like, there's that model. I mean, there's a very revealing model. I mean, then it's. I mean, it's not like the traditional like VG like the VR chat like YouTubers like and slash streamers like they go around talking to people like jump scaring people like they're not really playing the game. They're like. Literally just been like, it's literally just become a cam girl freaking stream, but a VR chat. So yeah, I can see where people are pissed off, to be honest.
A 3D platform who likes VR chat and uses similar backgrounds and stuff like that says it's a bit hypocritical. So this brings up the old question of should VR chat, which is known notoriously for a lot of sexual things, be held above what VTubers' standards are. I personally think that the avatar VR chat users use should be held to the same standard. I do understand making a difference between that there is games happening in the background. Yep. So I personally think they should not be interacting with sexual stuff. The avatar that they mainly use in these VR games should be held to the same standard as VTubers, while the environment be taken with the mindset that it's a game. So, because a lot of things happen in these games that sometimes is outside of the streamer's control, and that has like hindered the game being streamed in the past. So I understand that aspect. I think a simple compromise here is the best way to go. But some people are saying here that VR chat should be, in general, held to the same standard as all VTubing. I don't think it's personally possible, just the varying amount of what is in this game. Yeah. But I do see it that social games should be held a bit differently, and that the aspect that there is a person behind these avatars controlling them, similar to VTubing. Yeah. I don't think VTubers should be held to a higher standard than almost everyone else on this platform. I
do agree that because VR chat is a social game, it's very hard. Like a social game, it shouldn't physically be part of like the VTuber, like the VTuber, like lumped in with VTubers. But as a social game, it should be being physically a social game. It should be. It should be. How can I say this without being rude? Like, if it's a social game and there's nudity, it should be pinged. Like, non-safe for work stuff should be pinged because it's a game. Like, you shouldn't allow like super explicit like content on Twitch. Alright, as I said, it goes to the rule back with all the Twitch meta girls. Either have a plus 18 tab and allow it, or ban it. Alright, at the end of the day, you gotta make a decisive rule. Alright, I feel like you punish VTubers enough, and the whole VTubers to a huge high standard, and it's ridiculous. I think either you do it, or either you make a rule for everyone, or make a rule for no, or let's allow it. At this stage, just fix it up. because it's getting to the stage like it's one of these grey area rules again. It's a bit crazy.
It seems a bit hypocritical. And a lot of people here might be like, Del, how bad can it be? How bad can be what the VR chat streamers do? Okay, it can be pretty bad, okay? Some of the bans over COVID was horrendous, but also there's stripping, there's sex works. There's a lot of things in VR chat that Twitch needs to keep a closer eye on, but at the moment it's almost the Wild West Twitch section. It is so hard to get banned over there, it's ridiculous. I'm gonna accidentally encourage a lot of people to stream in the VR chat section, but it's known for harboring a lot of not allowed content on Twitch. But it is an interesting debate. Are VR streamers VTubers? And should they be held to the same standards as all VTubers? Again, I personally do think the avatars they use should be. But I do understand.
If they have one specific avatar, then I think they should. I think if they got one, they use a one specific style, one specific model. If they're using multiple models, I don't think so. But if they're using one specific model, so if, like, you look at something like Lolafon, who's a VR streamer / YouTuber. He uses his model for all. He has different models, but he has the same base model. So I'm saying, I think that's that he is a VTuber. He is a VTuber. And alright. I think if they have, like, you look at Moon, he has different variation of what the model of the same model, but it still uses the base of that model. So technically, he is now what you would consider a VTuber, and even uses his model as a VTuber. I think at this stage, if they got a specific look, and at this stage you can almost think that like the different sort of models are toggles at this stage, and they should be considered to be. I would consider them to be, well, a VTuber. Because if they use multiple models, are they using like multiple models? I don't think so. But I think if they have a base model and they have different variations, I think like that's pretty much just every VTuber out there. I think at that stage you can consider that a VTuber. I don't know. I think there's a real grey area. I think if somebody's got a base model, like a base model that has different variations, it's just using like a normal VTuber with toggles, or like a VTuber doing a new outfit. You know what I mean? Like you look at somebody doing like a beach model, like a summer model, a winter model, a Christmas model, a Halloween model. At this stage, if it still is the base model, but it's just got a different outfit or different thing, I think I think it can be considered a VTuber model. And most people use it for VTuber models anyway. So personally, I think they are VTubers now. But that's just me. I don't know. We'll continue.
Understand treating the in-game environment differently, and this has sadly created some discourse back and forward, some fighting on what is the right path here, including a lot of VR streamers actually come out and saying that they wish they would reel in a little bit of the sexual atmosphere in VR chat streams, because they are kind of known as gooners. And I agree with this. I say I have played VR chat, and people's like, Del, are you a gooner? And especially they expect a certain standard from you, and not saying like that's something to take away from it. But the reason VR chat streamers do have this reputation is because it's primarily a lot of streamers do sexual content, and
but who though
would normally be banned.
But who though?
Twitch. Why is it
that
every other aspect of Twitch streaming is dealt with a lighter hand than 2D or 3D VTubers? Why is the word VTuber making it so much harsher? Is it just because VR chat isn't the biggest market on there and it's kind of left alone? Or is it because VTubers are just in every section? Then why are we treated more harshly than actual in real life streamers? It doesn't really make sense. I personally think there's a compromise.
I think that's a whole other argument, to be honest.
Where they are
About VTubers.
responsible for their avatar, but not of their environment, etc. I think a little bit of leeway is needed for that game, but I don't think they should be allowed to just run completely wild as they have been at this stage. What do you think of the controversy? What do you think of the back and forwards debate between VTubers to VR chat streamers and towards Twitch? Because it seems no matter what they pick here, there's a lot of fighting. But honestly, I feel like this is the quickest cave I've ever seen of Twitch, where they got some complaints from VR chat streamers and completely caved to it yet again. It's very interesting and not usually what you see from Twitch, where they just cave into the peer pressure against rules. They tend to just double down a lot. And I can definitely see why VTubers are upset. What would you do, guys? What do you think is the right compromise here between VR chat streamers and VTubers? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. This is a very short video, but I didn't want to get into any specific drama between...
Oh shit. Whoopsie. In my opinion, I think if you are now a... Oh, let me switch to chatting. I think if you have a base model, I think you should be considered. You should be on the same guidelines as VTubers. It doesn't mean alright because as soon as you most people take that game out of VR chat and play other games with that model, and most VR chat models are made. Really, the 3D ones are literally made in like the same programs as VTube models. Like most of the like you use Vroid, you literally put your Vroid model into thing. But that's just me. But anyway, team, that's my saying. Thank you much for watching. Appreciate your faces, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.